Example number 2. Again, step 1. Always factor first. X plus 5, x minus 5. Next, list your non-permissible values. X can't equal negative 5, and x can't equal 5. Are they going to be vertical asymptotes, or are they going to be poles? Nothing simplifies, so we have vertical asymptotes at x equals negative 5 and x equals 5. In this situation, we have the same degree in your numerator and your denominator. They're both x squareds. When it's the same degree, you're going to have a horizontal asymptote at, and you're going to look at the coefficients of that highest degree. So we have negative 2x squared over 1x squared. That would simplify to negative 2 over 1. So your horizontal asymptote is at negative 2. And at this point, I'd start my graphing. So I'll do that off to the side here. We're going to have vertical asymptote at 5 and at negative 5. And a horizontal asymptote at y equals negative 2. And I'd look at my original equation to find my y-intercept, and if I plug in 0 for x, I get 0 for y. So my y-intercept is also an x-intercept. And when I go to find my x-intercepts, where I plug in 0 for y, again, we're only concerned about where our numerator is equal to 0. And what would make the top equal to 0? Only 0. So, I mean, we already listed it, but our x-intercept and our y-intercept are the same point. And we only have one point. Okay. As far as our graph goes, we have 3 sections. We have nothing in section 1. We have 1 point in section 2, but we're a little bit uncertain of what's happening in section 2. And we have no points in section 3. So we're going to have to find out what's happening here by adding some more points. I would plug in negative 6 to find out what's going to happen in section 1. And maybe I would use, because it's x squared, it looks like it would be simple just to plug things into my original equation. If you plugged in a negative 6, are you okay that negative 6 squared is positive 36? That gets multiplied by that negative 2. You would have negative 72 on the top. And then negative 6 squared would be positive 36 again. 36 minus 25 is 11. Negative 72 over 11. Gonna have to do some mental math here. Can you see that that's between negative 6 and negative 7? Can you do that mental math? Because 77 divided by 11 would be 7. 66 divided by 11 would be 6. So this is somewhere between 6 and 7, and it's negative, so it's going to be between negative 6 and negative 7. So when I go to graph this point, I've almost got it in the right place here. It's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to be somewhere in there. We have this point right here, negative 6, comma, negative 72 over 11, and that's enough for me to tell it has to go in that section. And because everything is squared, by symmetry, like if you plugged in positive 6, can you see that you would get exactly the same answer? So you can kind of do section 3 really quickly here right away. I know that that section is going to look the same over there. Now I'm a little bit unsure what's happening in the middle. Okay? Because in the middle, it could go through an asymptote. So does this look like some sort of x cubed graph in the middle? Does it look sort of like a parabola kind of shape in the middle? I don't know. Anytime you don't know, find some more points. Okay? So I would plug in 4. And I hope you can, well, I'm going to plug in 4 first. And I'm going to go to my original equation. If I plug in 4, 4 squared is 16. 16 times negative 2. And you see the top would be negative 32. And if I plug in 4, I would get 16 minus 25, which is negative 9. That'll be positive 32 over 9 as far as mental math. And you see that that's 27 divided by 9 is 3, 36 divided by 9 is 4. This is going to be somewhere between 3 and 4. So I'm going to go to my graph. I'm going to plug in the point 4, comma, 32 over 9. And maybe you would say, hey, I noticed before that if you plug in negative 4, squaring that's going to be exactly the same as squaring positive 4. So you're also going to get 32 over 9. And in this case, we would have a balance, which kind of makes sense because can you see that the multiplicity of that x-intercept would be 2? So it makes sense that there would be a balance at that x-intercept. Okay. Question to circle. Number 4.